So today is the 18th anniversary of the day that my dad passed away. I took the day off today so that I could think about my dad and just kind of be at peace today without the noise and distraction of the daycare. And every one of my daycare parents are extremely supportive of taking this day for myself. And I cannot tell you how much that means to me. So today I'm pouring back into me, and I'm going to do what my dad would want me to do today. I'm not going to let myself get gloomy and down. I am going to remember him. I may shed some tears today, and but that's okay. But I'm going to take care of myself today. I'm going to do things for myself that make me feel good and that are good for me. My dad, he was very kind of easygoing, really. He always made sure that we had fun as kids. The best that he could. He was the parent who made sure that Christmas was always abundant, even if it meant they didn't pay bills. Christmas was a big deal to him, and so it is to all three of us. Me and my sisters, I mean. The last time I saw my dad was Christmas Day of 2004. For that reason, and others, pretty much from his birthday all the way through this day, catches me feeling more missing him and thinking about him than really than any other time of the year. Christmas isn't Easter. He made sure that we didn't go without. I remember this one Christmas when he had been out of work for some time, and of course I didn't find this out till years later, but we got bikes that Christmas. And we knew that they weren't brand new, we could tell. But we were ever so grateful and just as excited to get them. My dad had purchased them. Of course, we didn't let on that we knew. But he had purchased them from a neighbor across the street. And he stayed up cleaning them and repairing them and making sure that they were shiny and safe for us. And we loved those bikes. I think more because even though we weren't told for some time later, we knew how we got them. And because of that, those bikes, I can't speak for my sisters, but those bikes carried so much love. I treasured mine till we didn't have them anymore. But Daddy was the one you went to if you needed help. As an adult, my dad was the one you asked if you needed help. My mom, she always said no. Now, I'm not saying my dad was perfect. Nobody's perfect. I'm not saying that he wasn't a disciplinarian. In our house growing up, we got whoopings. I'm not talking about a hand on the butt. I'm talking about belts. Whoopings. Now, my mom just hit us with whatever. I mean, those were different times, and in those days, it was perfectly normal. Your neighbor could smack you if you got out of line. You know, grandparents could whoop you. That's how it was back then. I'm not saying he was perfect. But when I think of my dad, I don't feel any resentment about those times. I feel that he loved us. And I'm not idealizing him because he's gone. I'm not saying there weren't times when, as a kid, I didn't claim to hate him. Usually when I was being punished. But he was a good father. Come what may, he made sure, even if he had to borrow, beg, and steal, he made sure that we had food, that we had something on our backs to wear, that, you know, we went to school, we had a roof over our head, one way or another. As an adult, my dad was always there for me. I could always call on him if I needed help. And if he didn't have it, he found it, and if it was his last dollar, he gave it. I seemed to be the one that needed more help than my sisters, so I think he always worried about me. And of course, when my dad passed away, I was still 404 pounds. I wasn't doing anything with my life. I was still married. I like to think he can see me now, you know. I like to think that he can see the progress I've made, can see how independent I've become, can see the weight loss, can see how hard I work. I am nowhere near the person I was when my dad passed away. Not even a little bit. That woman is gone, non-existent. For real. I like to think that he would be very proud of who I've become. See, when my dad passed away, I said to myself, I really felt like the only person that truly, unconditionally loved me was gone. And I felt, this is before I got really close with my stepdad, and I felt alone in this world at that time. And I thought, and then when my then husband walked out, I really felt, I was like, what am I going to do now? My best friend stepped in. Those are all stories I've told before, not for this video. And I'll talk about my stepdad in another video. I don't probably call him stepdad, but it's the only way I know how to differentiate for you guys what I'm talking about. I just called him Dad. And I got close with him after Daddy passed away. Then because I was only like 35 when my dad passed away, and I very much still needed a father in my life. Oh, so very much. So I kind of clung to my stepdad then, but that's, again, another story. I'm going to be 54 in May, and believe it or not, there's so many times when I could really use a father's advice. My dad used to sit down, I'm going to talk to you like a father now. And I used to always think to myself, as opposed to what? But whenever he said that, you knew what was about to come out was from his heart. And it was from, after much thought, he was about to give you some pearls of wisdom and from his life experience. Only then, I didn't know that. I didn't appreciate it like I would now. The camera looks tilted to me, I'm not sure. Now, I am just 4 years away from where my dad was when he passed away. I am going to be 54 in May, and he was 58, and it feels so weird. It feels really weird. A little frightening. And I cannot fathom getting to be older than my dad was when he passed. I can't fathom being older than my dad. I can't. I just, my dad's forever 58, right? And I wish I had listened then to all of his wisdom. Because I understand now, having gone through so much myself, even just since he passed away in the last 18 years, where that wisdom came from. Came from life experiences. And I wish I'd have listened. We are so stupid when we're young. We don't think our parents know anything. If I'd only known, if I'd only paid more attention then. Yeah, I miss my dad. I miss him. I miss him a lot. the best way I think that I can honor him and make him proud is to continue doing what I'm doing. The last thing he said to me, not face to face, but in a letter that he left to us, he told me to stay the way I am and to keep helping people. To stay, to be who I was and to keep helping people. And you know what? I didn't think anybody noticed. The sacrifices that I made. I didn't think anybody cared. When my sister went to nursing school, my husband quit his job and we moved so that I could take care of her kids, so she could study hard and get her nursing license. And I've taken care of my other sister's kids. I'm always taking care of somebody's kids. I've worked in Alzheimer's units. Everything I've done has been in a service capacity. It's been to serve others, and I guess that's just why God put me here. But honestly, I didn't think anybody even cared or noticed. I just did it because I felt like it's just what I was supposed to be doing. But he noticed. He noticed and he recognized, and he told me to keep being who I was and to keep helping people. And I think, I know, it is one reason I work so hard now. I've been working 70 plus hours, give or take, every week for almost 7 years. And that is no easy task. It takes everything out of you. Everything out of you. And you have no time for anything but work. And I think Daddy would be proud. I'm being who I am. And for him to say that in that letter means that he saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself at the time. It means he really saw me. And I didn't even see me, if that makes any sense. He knew me better than I knew myself. And I really underestimated that. And I underestimated how much he loved us. I knew he loved us. I underestimated how much. Didn't appreciate it like I do now. Because I've been through things, 18 years is a long time. And I want to give a shout out to my daycare parents. Because when I told them I wanted to take today off, they were, every one of them, very supportive. And I would, the first thing I've written a couple of books about grief, and the first thing I tell anybody is you're allowed to feel the way you feel. You're allowed to grieve however you want to grieve and take as long as you want. And it comes and goes. And that's what I tell people. And yet here I found myself making excuses to my daycare parents. Like, yeah, I know, it's been 18 years since he's been gone. And they every single one of them said that doesn't matter. He was your dad. One day or 18 years or 30 years, whatever, however long your loved one's been gone. They're right, it does not matter.
Sorry, guys. And I do that too. I apologize for my grief, and you shouldn't do that. And I tell other people don't do that. But it does not matter how long it's been. That. Yeah. Y'all notice I didn't put makeup on today because I knew that grief and that pain has a way of sneaking back up on you. And especially today. His birthday, but I tried to be more upbeat, and I really was trying today. And, but I knew I needed to talk about him. And, but that grief will sneak back up on you whether you expect it or least expect it. It's going to. And it can feel like it just happened. And I knew I would not be in any shape to watch those kids today. My mind would be elsewhere. And the daycare parents completely got it. I'm standing there making excuses. And they understood. All of them. Very supportive and very gentle about me needing today off. And I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. So I'm going to spend today continuing to better myself, being what my dad asked me to be, continuing to be who I am, and helping people. And by doing that, I'm going to spend some time today continuing to work towards my CDA. That is a 3 or 4 month course that I've been working on for 6.5 years because I just don't have time. And I need to buckle down on that and get it finished. And so I'm going to work on that a little. I'm going to work on my book. I'm only halfway through my new book that will not be self-published. I'm going to go take a walk. Do things that's healthy for me. I'm still I'm still losing weight. I'm on a plateau right now. I'm fluctuating 2 to 3 pounds in the same area. And so when that happens to me, I know that there's something, I know what I'm doing. I usually know why. But it usually also means that there's something else that I need to do or not do to get past that plateau. So I'm going to go take a walk at the park and do things to improve my health so that I'm around. Well, as weird as it will be to get older than my dad was when he passed, he would want me to be much older than he was when he passed. And so I'm going to go do that today.
This won't mean anything to any of you guys. But my sisters and I, this is a place where my dad used to work. Normally when I come down here, there's no one down here. I don't usually come come down on a weekday. I remember lots and lots of times coming down as a kid to pick him up from work, and that's my dad was the foreman there. The shop itself, like the main office, is not there anymore. But this place had a very distinct smell, like hot asphalt, sulfur maybe. It's funny, today that smell's not there. I don't know. Usually it is here, even on the weekends. But for some reason it's just not there today. We got some geese. Some seagulls over there. See the geese? The park wasn't always here. It's, that's been built up over the years. It used to just be, come down this cobblestone road, and my dad used to always scare us and make us think we were going to go into the river. I hope they never pave over this road. I hope not. I actually live in a very historical area of Virginia. But if you really think about it, there's a very historical area in every part of the country. But this is in particular to the Civil War. Grant's cabin, so if I can, Grant's where he slept and stayed is, let's see, there it is. See if I can can you see it back there through the trees? Let's see if I can get a little closer, make sure the one behind me is right there. Ulysses S. Grant stayed right there. And that is called Weston Manor. And believe it or not, I was raised here and have never been inside that house. Crazy, huh? I've been on the grounds, but I've never been inside the house itself. So see, it even talks about here Grant's headquarters at Appomattox Manor, 1864 to 65. During the siege of Petersburg and Richmond, President Lincoln spent 3 weeks in City Point during April 1865. Here, Appomattox Manor. I actually see patented 1635 by Captain Francis Epps, who came by tradition in the Hopewell, owned by the same family, probably longer than any land in the U.S., shelled by the British during the American Revolution. I actually dated an Epps. Yep. Well, I wouldn't say dated an Epps. I wouldn't use that word. It was more of a, you know. Anyway. General Grant's headquarters at City Point. So, you know, I've never, ever seen that gate open. Not ever. People generally just park on the side of the street, I guess, and I got to get going because there's a truck behind me. I guess they just walk up to the manor. Just came down here to sit by the river for a few minutes because this isn't something I can normally do on a Wednesday in the middle of the day. Look at those clouds. They almost look unreal, don't they? Like they're literally painted on. Sorry guys, I'm trying to hold my phone steady. I don't know. I get nervous when I film. I don't know why. Even if I'm by myself, I get nervous. This is definitely something I never get to do during the week. When it's not crowded, you know, and everybody's at work. Like I am usually working. Trying to catch the seagulls. There's a bunch up on that already. I'm gonna shut this off for now and enjoy the view for a bit. Something I was noticing about the clouds is that they are flat on the bottom with a fluffy top. So I had to look it up. And apparently that flat bottom marks the spot where moisture turns into rain, turns into droplets. And then the current clouds are pushed upwards, making the fluffy top. Kind of reminds me of like a scoop of ice cream when you put it on the cone. Isn't that neat? So where those clouds are flat, there on the bottom, that's a really good one, good example over there, is exactly where the moisture from the air forms the droplets. So you could, I haven't checked the weather, so I might sound very stupid. So you could say that by all of this, all these droplets forming, all of these clouds, I guess the more and more there are, the heavier it gets, and eventually they fall. Rain. Just beautiful though. So beautiful. It's actually something I think I would like to turn into a photograph for my wall. Try not to get the trees, I just want the clouds. I'm taking some screenshots of them as well. Trying to be straight, but to be straight I gotta get the tops of the trees and I don't want that. I just want the clouds. I pulled up back home to see this little guy out here, probably scavenging for pecans and nuts and whatever stuff that he's buried. There's actually a pot that used to have a plant in it from last spring on my porch up here, and I was gonna throw it away, but I noticed that there was a pecan sticking up from the dirt, and I realized the squirrel probably had buried it there and might come back for it. So for now, I'm leaving it there. And I'm sure they're all through my little garden area there. Guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video today. This was a very personal video for me to make, um, especially some parts of it. But if you watch the whole thing, thank you for sharing in my feelings, having me all in my my whatever. But I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching. I really do. Um, and thank you for your subscriptions. And thank you for your love and your support and your prayers. And please like the video for me and share it if you are so inclined. Um, it's funny how this works for me after today. It's almost like a switch. It's not that I forget about my dad, but it's like I said earlier in the video, that time between his birthday and today is particularly difficult. You know, I kind of go through a lot of ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster of emotions and things like that. I was thinking about it more, but after today, it's almost kind of a relief. I don't know how to say that, um, because I know I'll have uh, like 6 months or so before this. My depression comes on me harder also between that time, and nobody really knows this. You know that why I set up my vacations the way I do. I take 2 vacations a year. I take one in the fall. I take one in the spring. The one I take in the fall is around the Thanksgiving week, but it's also right after um, my dad's birthday, and then the holiday seasons kick in, and I want to be with family, more than anything during that time. And I'm really starting to think about my dad and the last Christmas I spent with him and his birthday and all that. And so I set up my fall vacation around that time purposefully because I know that I need to hit a reset button. And then I set one up in the spring during the week of my birthday, because it comes right after this day. And then we've got Easter, and then which makes me think of my dad taking us to Battlefield Park and flying kites and all. And they're good memories, but it's also very draining. So then I set up my spring vacation for the week of my birthday to also to hit that second reset button to celebrate my birthday, to get into spring, to get lifted out of that fog that I sort of kind of live in from October to till after Easter. So, but after today, I kind of get, I start to feel better, and so I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys being here. I really, really do. And like I said, please make sure you're subscribed. So just follow my life. That's pretty much, I post eclectic content.
Um, a lot of stuff about narcissism, but basically, you're just watching my life. God bless. Um, love you. I'll see you in the next video. Mwah.